a few months ago, we were asked with finding out about and furthering our understanding about how students were feeling about the direction volunteer education was heading in, just our general consensus on what we thought about it. So to do this, we did a very general poll of about 100 or so students, simple random sample for any of those statistic people out there like myself who enjoy this type of stuff. We did it from all the different class types, be it AP, honors, or general. We did it from the different grades as well, so freshman through senior, to make sure that everyone was equally represented. And one of the percentages that we got was that a large percentage of us felt that volunteer was actually not getting us so much as ready for college as we think it should be. And I would take that with a very, very big grain of salt, because whenever you ask a student whether they like school or not, you're very unlikely to get a student that will actually admit openly they enjoy it. And that's just the way of it, I guess. But I also think that that shouldn't be completely disregarded entirely just because of that fact. Because there has to be some reason that this is happening. I didn't know how much liberty to take with this poll, so I went ahead and asked what students would do differently if they were given the option to make a decision like that. And one of the things we found was that a large percentage of us are involved in the dual enrollment programs at volunteer offered by ETSU, Northeast, and Walters State. And another interesting thing about that is most of those same students were involved in AP courses at volunteer. So that shows you that we do have kids that are willing to put forth the work and learn the material. So one of the suggestions we got was that more AP classes offered by volunteer would be beneficial to us as opposed to an outside college coming in to teach us. Because we think that familiar surroundings it's easier to learn in than going up to ETSU or something along those lines. Plus, AP courses carry the exact same amount of weight as a dual enrollment course, if not more, because the college board has agreed on those materials, as opposed to an individual college. On top of that, we also thought that class structuring would be another important thing for us to talk about. Because as of right now, there are structures as far as who gets put in general classes, who gets put in honors classes, and who gets put in AP and dual enrollment. But it's still kind of like a free-for-all, per se, because there's no exact, clear boundary for where general students end and honors students begin. And that kind of inhibits our ability to fully interact with our teachers, because the teachers and the students are sometimes worried that they're going to get left behind, or they're going to kind of fall back a little bit and they won't understand or something like that. So as much as I'm not a fan of standardized testing, because I am a student after all, I think that maybe some kind of benchmark or something to really help us distinguish where students are proficient and where they're advanced in certain subjects, I think that would help us more than anything right now. Because then you can say, this student is excellent in biology and most of the sciences, but in English he's not so proficient. So then we can really decide where he can get, and it's a more personalized learning for him or her. Then the last point was that I don't know exactly how much say you guys have over curriculum, but we feel that sometimes the teachers are a tad bit rushed in teaching us stuff. And we don't know whether that's from them just disregarding stuff or goofing off, because we do goof off a little bit, I'll admit. But we think that if there was some way that the teachers didn't have to teach everything an exact laid out way, and they could kind of individualize it a bit more, that would really create a better learning atmosphere for all the students to thrive. Because the reason we like or dislike teachers is because of the way they teach. We enjoy the way they teach, or we don't like it at all, and that's really how we connect with them. So I think if there was a way to where they could spend more time teaching the way they want to, as opposed to the way they're told to, which is what they tend to express to students, then I think that would be beneficial for us. And also, the point came up that whenever you are rushed, it kind of feels like the lesson is watered down a bit. So it's not as strong as it would be. And another thing is, there are sometimes, like I'm a very inquisitive person in all my classes. I love asking questions, trying to stump the teacher. There are sometimes when there comes up a point and the whole class wants to get involved in this conversation. They like this topic, they want to have a debate or an argument or just an equal ground conversation with their teacher. But since the teacher is so rushed to teach for the test and to get the lesson across, sometimes we have to cut those activities short. We feel like that really puts a dampener on our education as far as that goes. Because we think if we could do that, that would help us develop the ability to think critically and think logically and deduce things in a reasonable manner, which is essentially what college is. So I'm not sure whether or not, like I said, we are just saying we don't like school very much because we're students, or whether it's not actually true. So I'm going to leave that up to you. You guys have any questions for us? Thank you.
Thank you.